Good morning. It's day 8 for a cold plunge. I'm by myself today, but later this week, I'm going to have some special guests joining me. We have 2 buckets of ice in here. Let's add a third, and let's get this going. The goal today is like 6 minutes, so we'll see. All right, let's get this bucket of ice in. So just realized I've put it up higher than I normally do. But you know what? It's going to be okay. All right, let's send it. You know the drill? We send it in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, sheesh. This might overflow. Oh, it's so cold. What's up, guys? Oh, day 8. It's a Monday. We love Mondays, so this is a perfect way to start off the week with a cold plunge. Okay, it's already not that bad. I will say, when I did one last week, I wasn't going to do it. I think it was Friday. I wasn't going to do it, and then my player texted me, Emma, hey, coach, are you cold plunging tomorrow? And I'm like, you know what? A player wants to do it. Sure, why not? My mood changed drastically. And this may be like a mental thing of like, pain don't work like that. But yes, I look forward to these. I did take a week off. I just had personal stuff going on and just time management wasn't great that week. But she asked me to do it and I did it. And then I was in a great mood for my athletes. So putting these back in my routine, starting November 1st, I am 100% committing to a routine and like a plan, I guess. I've been watching this video on TikTok. I can't remember who it was, but I'll tag the person. She does like podcasts and stuff, but I was just watching her videos about everything that you do right now, you need to be doing with a purpose of you're preparing yourself to look like your future self and the future life that you want. Everything you do, everything you say, the people you surround yourself with is reflecting on like how you're going to be in the future in a way of like what you allow and don't allow, what routines you want and don't want. I'm trying to act as if I'm preparing, or at least trying to act like I want my future self to act. Cold plunges is one of them, but just routine. I really want to start waking up earlier and getting out of bed. My alarm goes off, I'm awake, and then I just stay in bed. And that's a me thing, I know. But anywho, this weekend, we had Saturday and Sunday off. I was gonna go to the concert in Charlotte, but then I didn't want to spend the $230 plus the Ticketmaster fees because we know Ticketmaster charges so many freaking fees. So I know it was gonna be like $400 ticket. I was gonna go to a basketball game in Charlotte, and then I came home because Cooper had to go to the vet. I meant to the groomer, so that was when I was coming home. My parents live in Gaffney, so it's like 45 minutes from Charlotte, so really not that far. Saying to my mom, just decided to spend the day with my mom. After we had a really close family friend of ours pass away, I've been making hanging out with my parents a priority, and just making sure that I'm calling them every day. So when all of that happened, when the guy that we knew passed away, me and his daughter like grew up together, the same age. The night that he passed away, I asked her like, "Hey, what do you need from me? Like, what do you need?" And her response was to flash back a couple hours ago when my dad asked me if I was around in town, which she wasn't, because they have like a camper and like needed help cleaning it out or something. She wasn't. She was in Greenville. And she said, I can come home. And he's like, no, I'll get your mom to do it later. That was the last conversation she had with her dad. And kind of hit home for me. And it hit me a different way of just like, yes, I know me and my parents argue and we may not agree on everything. But is it worth the argument? Is it worth getting frustrated over? Like, yes, I know it's easier said than done. I'm still going to get frustrated with stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm just so grateful to have 2 parents alive. Oh, this is making me emotional. They love me unconditionally and like want to be there for me and help me and do things with me. Because a lot of people don't have that. So it's just kind of a reality check for me. And oh, I make sure I talk to my parents every day, even though I don't get to see them every day. I still call them. After the first right after it happened, the first week, I was calling my dad. He's like, "What do you want? Why are you calling me?" I'm like, "Just hey, how are you? How's your day? Just want to say I love you." So my advice for everyone today, if your parents are around, um, just shoot them a text or call them and just say, "Hey, I love you. Grateful for you." Even if I know every single situation is different and every single relationship is different, but if you have at least a decent relationship, because I know there are some people like the parents have just treated them horribly. It's like, I'm not going to text my parents or call them. But even if it's like the smallest thing, you're going to wish that the last thing you said to your parents was a positive thing or like, hey, I love you, over like, no, I can't help you. Like, or just not speaking to them based on an argument. I know every situation is different, but that's just my advice to everyone out there today. Oh, this was not supposed to be an emotional session. This week is senior. I say senior week. I like to because a big flaw that my dad's is a flaw when it comes to coaching is that I care too much and I overly invest, and it's like I go above and beyond for my athletes and for the job and for the program. And I don't always get that in return. I don't want that in return, but sometimes it would be nice just a little bit. But so I like to say senior night is Friday. I like to make this whole week about the seniors because I've been there and I know, and just last year playing volleyball. So I want it to be very special for them. So yeah, we have two games. We play Tuesday and then Friday against Limestone, which we just beat Limestone in four. And then we have them Friday, which I know they're gonna probably play better because they want to beat us. But then I also know we're gonna have a lot of people around, and we're doing a whole thing. Just I have a whole plan of everything of setup stuff, and then we're doing like a post reception. Um, so it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You're actually gonna see the other two seniors on this week. I texted them. I said, "Hey, you're cold plunging with me this day, and you're cold plunging with me this day." They're like, "Okay." I said, "Emma did it. You guys can do it." Another piece of advice for everyone. It's crazy, like when you open your devotion or open your Bible, of it's exactly what you need to hear in that moment. And I've been very, very like on top of this. I struggle with it just like everyone struggles with stuff. But regardless of where you are and what job you are in, be where your feet are. I've like I've known this, but I've really started to notice like everything that I say and every action that I do, people are watching. I've really been on my kids. Like patience is a big thing for me, and I struggle with patience. I made the mistake a couple years ago of praying for patience, and trust me, my patience got tested. But I think that's this year of um, preaching to my athletes. Patience and pressure have been the two things. Of we need to be patient, be where your feet are, regardless of the situation. Like just be present and be where your feet are, because you don't know where you're going to be tomorrow. Don't know where you're going to be in a year. Like I might have a different job in January, and I want to be super present and patient with my athletes and just teach them as much as I can teach them and impact them. And another thing with the sport of volleyball, and I think this goes beyond volleyball, of pressure. And I think every single team that I coach is like a big thing, like pressure we struggle with. And eventually it's so cool to see them beat the pressure. But I feel like we look at pressure as such a negative thing compared to looking as I'm so grateful to have pressure. We love pressure. That has been my big thing that I've been preaching to our Newberry team of we embrace the pressure. We love pressure because that means that the other team is playing at a high level of volleyball and we want to play at a high level of volleyball. We want the pressure situations of when I don't want to be down, but being down and coming back, or being up and it's a point for point game. Like when pressure is applied, so many athletes look at it as so negative. It is a good thing. You are in the small percent of athletes, of female athletes that get to play college volleyball. Not that you have to, you get to. We get to embrace the pressure. We get to be in high pressure situations. We get to go to practice. A lot of times we just I have to go to this, I have to do that. And I do the exact same thing. I have a meeting tomorrow. I get to go to a meeting. I'm so blessed to be in this position that I'm impacting so many people. And that is my goal in life. Of when I die one day, what legacy I want to leave behind, I want to impact as many people as possible in a positive way, and also share the gospel a bit. And being a coach, I get to do that. I get to have those conversations with my athletes. I get to share devotions and what I go through and just how God's impacted me. And maybe bring someone closer to God. Like that's the legacy that I want to leave behind of just I want to be the coach in 5, 10, 20 years that my athletes are inviting me to their wedding or having conversations or they're reaching out to me and texting me and asking for help because I have that. I love to give an impact. And I do think that's qualities of a great coach. And I'm not saying I'm great. I'm not perfect. I have so much to learn. And it's crazy. I was thinking this morning, the growth that I've had this year. I used to be the coach that was just like, losing is not an option. Now, there's a fine line. Okay. I don't like to lose. I hate losing. But it comes to a time I can sit here and scream at you and tell you, not you're terrible, but like, what are we doing? You're sucking right now. Or I can still be hard on you, but volleyball is not your identity. I personally struggled with that. It took me a very long time to get over that. Actually, I'd say last year is finally when I just let it go. Your identity isn't in winning and losing volleyball matches. Not at all. It hit me. My team was in my club team. We were at Sunshine. We came in ranked number 1. We were projected to win. We weren't doing well. We ended up losing a match in 3, and it was probably the worst that they had ever played, which is okay because that happens. But in the second set, we won the first. We're in the second set. I'm like on them. I'm fussing at them. Like, why didn't you do this? You need to do this. Close the butt. Whatever. It's like just on them. And I just start seeing them shift, their attitude shift. Like they were more stressed out. They were getting snippy with each other, and they didn't look like they were having fun. And I took a step back. I'm like, why am I so stressed out and putting so much stress on me and the girls? We have 2 more matches to play. We have another set to play after that. We had 2 more matches that day and then a whole nother day of volleyball. We had 6 more tournaments left on the season. We had another weekend, the following weekend of volleyball. And I finally looked at them. I said, y'all, we still have more volleyball to play. You lose this, it's not the end of the world. And I've tried to adapt that a little bit this year of just staying calm in games. I overcoach and I like to give you feedback. Some kids I know who I can give feedback to like that. Others I know I can't. But I like to give feedback. And yes, I will be stern with you and hard on you when I've asked you to do something you're not doing it or stuff that I already know how to do. But if you hit a ball out of bounds, I'm not going to scream at you depending on the situation. But you know you made an error. I don't need to scream at you that you made an error. How can we fix it? What is the way that we can talk and, hey, that's not the error that we need right now, but I also use my coach voice. But how about we do this? How about we work it in this way? Because your identity isn't in volleyball. It isn't if you win or lose matches. I don't know. I do think that there is a fine line because I know I'm going to get some controversy over this. There is a fine line. But at the end of the day, volleyball ends. Volleyball's not forever. It won't end. And then you have a life. But that's one piece of advice I want to give to every single athlete. Volleyball is not your identity. Take it from someone who struggled with it until last year as a coach. Volleyball was my identity, and it's funny, I've had to have conversations with kids of like, what do you enjoy to do? Do you love yourself? Do you love being by yourself, like being your own best friend? And then what's your hobby? And it's like, sometimes volleyball. I'm like, all right, volleyball ends tomorrow. What are you doing? And then it's kind of like an identity crisis. But I also like being there to help kids because I didn't have someone do that for me. I probably did, but I didn't take it in. And just being that person for these athletes is something I like. I feel like you can't describe, like when kids that get it and you see that you're helping kids. Ooh, that was a long rant. I guarantee you it's been like 10 minutes. All right. We are getting out of here in 1, 2, 3. All right. This is day 8. Come back tomorrow for day 9.